Ryan. Ryan is here. I can see Ryan in the meet.
Yes, ma'am, I'm there, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, I'm there.
Yeah, noted. Dipanshu Kumar.
There's still a class going on for A section, ma'am. The interview.
Oh, okay, fine.
So not all of them have joined.
You belong to A section, right, Nitish?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I finished my interview in the previous class itself.
Oh, okay, fine. So Dipanshu Kumar is there, 26?
I don't know, ma'am. He's not.
Okay, right. Okay, answer. Whoever is here, you answer your attendance. Vishal. Nitish is here, 37. Then Shruti Kaushik is here, 46. 46, 103. I think it's waste taking an attendance right now. Okay, so let me start with the class. Remind me to take attendance at the end. I thought of taking attendance without wasting the time, but looks like nobody is joining. Okay, B section is joining. Okay, fine. So we need to start with our fourth unit. In fact, I had started fourth unit with the A section. In the previous class, I think when I started, B section wasn't there. So I had just started with the basics of it. So anyway, what happened? Okay, so we'll start once again. So fourth unit is all about web security. Okay, so what are all the protocols necessary for providing web security? So that's what we will be discussing in fourth unit. Okay, so there are two protocols which helps in ensuring your web security. Of course, the IP security is also the Internet Protocol security. It's also part of web security only. But here we'll be concentrating on SSL and TLS protocols. Then how public key is being deployed in secure socket layer. Then the attacks that comes as a part of the version 3 of SSL. Then of course, SSL is not a single protocol. It's a layered protocol, which consists of so many things. Okay, so in detail, you'll be learning about all those things. Handshaking protocols, handshaking messages. So they are all part of what is called your SSL protocol. Then finally, another important aspect of your web security is nothing but secure electronic transactions, or SET. Okay, so this is the coverage of your fourth unit. Okay, so these are the topics which we are expected to learn. Okay, so fourth unit is all about web security. Okay, so what do you mean by web security? Web security means web, World Wide Web. That's what we are talking about. How to provide security to the data transmitted through the network. Okay, so that's what we are interested. Okay, so when you say World Wide Web, it's nothing but you can visualize it as a client server application running over the internet and or your TCP/IP intranets. Okay, so your web or internet, it will always be presenting newer challenges. I mean, which is always of interest to the field of network security. Okay, so your components of your web, be it your web browser or web server or web contents, so they are all vulnerable to attacks, attacks over the internet. Okay, so the question is, why do we learn this web security, or what is the significance of web security? Okay, so because internet or World Wide Web is a platform, or you can say it's serving as a highly visible platform for corporates, or for providing some product information, or it also serves as a platform for business transactions. Okay, so people are using it increasingly on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so in case the web servers are being sabotaged or the web servers are being damaged, okay, so definitely the corporations or the agencies, they'll be losing their reputation. And again, even in the course of all these things happening, money can also be lost if the web servers are being sabotaged. Okay, so if you take the case of your web browsers and web servers, okay, your web browsers, you're familiar with all the various web browsers, be it Mozilla Firefox or your Chrome, or previously we had your IE Internet Explorer or your Netscape Navigator. They're all very easy to use. Same way your web servers. Your servers are also very easy to configure and manage. Okay, then coming to the web content. Content. So web content is also using the various web technologies. It is very easy to develop. But the underlying software, so that is actually very complex. Okay, so this complex software, it may hide many potential security flaws. Okay, so if you look into if you have learned a subject called web technology, okay, somebody is putting something in the chat window. Ma'am joined late. Jashwant, I have not taken attendance, so no worries. Okay, where is my PPT? Okay, right. So if you look into the history of your World Wide Web or internet, okay, so you would have read about every now and then, or you can say on a daily basis, newer systems are coming up, upgraded systems are coming, they're getting installed. Okay, but then all these are vulnerable to a variety of security threats or security attacks. Okay, because web servers, especially the web servers, if they are being targeted or if they are being exploited, so they are actually, you can say, the gateway or the launching pad to corporations' data, in fact. Okay, so once the web server is being sabotaged or compromised, the attacker can easily gain access to the data which is connected to the server at the local site, not just to the system which is part of a web. Other than that, if the web server is being sabotaged, the attacker can gain access to the data, whatever is connected to the server at the local site. Okay, so then again, so all these are a cause of concern. Okay, so that's the reason why we need to discuss about web security. Okay, then again, when you see, I mean, many of the users of the internet, your common clients, I mean, they all will be using some sort of web-based services, or your casual users, or you can call them as untrained users. Okay, so untrained users means they are not trained in the security manners or the security aspects. They are not knowledgeable regarding it. Okay, so they are not aware of the security risk. Okay, so they will not be knowing about the tools, or they will not be having the knowledge how to take effective countermeasures. Okay, so these are all the various aspects related to web security. So that what I just gave is an introduction to what is called your web security. Okay, so now coming to the different types of web security threats. What are the different web security threats? Okay, threats or attacks. Okay, so do you remember seeing these two terminologies anywhere? The threats or attacks being classified as passive attack and active attack? I will not ask you what it is. At least tell me whether we have learned or not somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for responding. Yes, we have discussed it. I think in unit number 1, we have discussed about different types of attacks, or how to gain access into the computer system. Okay, so that time we had classified it as 2. One is called the passive threat and the second one is called active threat. Okay, so what is the difference between this active and passive threat? So passive threat means, it's not much of a danger, you can say. Okay, so to some extent you can say it is just accessing the data. You're accessing the data, but then you're not modifying the data. Active attack will be more harmful, or you can say the impact will be more powerful in the case of an active attack, because modification of data will be done. Okay, so the final impact will be more in the case of active attack. Okay, so do you remember the types of active attack we discussed? We had different types of active attack. Active attack, I think one was called traffic analysis. Traffic analysis, do you remember what was traffic analysis? Then another one was what was called eavesdropping. Eavesdropping, I think we called it as releasing of message contents. So these were the two types of passive attacks. I'll just list it because it forms an introduction to our fourth unit. Okay, so one is what is called your traffic analysis. Do you remember what was traffic analysis all about? Traffic analysis. What is traffic analysis? The data which is being sent by the sender to the receiver. Okay, so when the data is being sent, you observe the eavesdropper, they'll be observing the length and frequency of the message that is getting exchanged from the source to the destination or from the sender to the receiver. Okay, so when you observe these kind of information, that is the frequency and the length of messages getting exchanged, so that will provide some useful clue in guessing what type of communication is actually taking place. Or you can, maybe to some extent, you can find out or guess what is the nature of the communication that is taking place. Okay, and maybe the intruder or the third party who's doing that can even determine the location and the identity of the communicating host. Okay, so that's what is basically your traffic analysis. Then what about releasing of message content? Releasing of message content. Trying to access your email or listening to a telephonic conversation. Okay, just accessing the information, just listening to it. Okay, so that's what is basically called your release of message content. Another name for it is, I think we call it as eavesdropping. Eavesdropping. Traffic analysis and eavesdropping. Okay, so attacker is eavesdropping to your communication, not doing anything, no modification done, just listening to your communication. Okay, I think some textbook call it as sniffing, snooping. They're all synonyms for it, sniffing or snooping. Sniffing, snooping. Okay, so yeah, these are the types of passive attacks. Then what about the types of active attack? Do you remember the types of active attack? Do you remember the types of active attacks? DOS attack, denial of service, not disk operating system, denial of service. And then we had also discussed about what is called replay attacks. Replay attacks, then DOS attack, denial of service. Okay, so replay, what is replay? Okay, so what in active attack, what happens is modification of the information happens or the message happens. So in replaying, the name itself tells you something. The sender is sending a message to the receiver. Okay, so a unauthorized third party is gaining access to that message, modifying that message, and sending that message to the receiver. Okay, so that receiver will be receiving the message twice, one from the sender and one will be the modified message from the unauthorized party. Okay, so the destination or the receiver will not be able to distinguish between which is actually correct and which is the manipulated one. Okay, which is the proper message or which is the actual or the proper message. Okay, so that's what we call it as replay. Again and again receiving the message, that is what is called replaying. So these are the two, that's a type of attack. Then of course, denial of service. What was denial of service all about? Is the session recording happening? Okay.
Third party will be disrupting the message being sent to the receiver.
Yes, third party disrupting the messages, and finally even bringing the network down. So I mean, they do it in different ways, this DOS attack. So they'll either try to degrade the performance of the entire network, or some sort of flooding can happen or by overloading it with messages. Okay, so that's what, as she said, disrupting the services which is being sent by the sender server to the client, or sent to the sender, and it'll all be done in the name of the sender. Okay, so other than these, we discussed about network layer attacks also. Anyway, that we are not like IP spoof, address spoofing, and all those things, and man in the middle of attack. All those things we discussed in first unit. So why I discussed about this is these are the two categories, main categories of web security threats. Okay, so another way of categorizing it, classifying the web security threat, is in terms of the location of the threat. Location of the threat. Okay, so whether it is at the server level, browser, web browser, or network traffic between the browser and the server. Okay, so the issues of your server and the browser, so these two fall into the category called computer system security. Computer system security. Okay, computer system security. These two, your web browser, web server, and browser based threats. Okay, then issues of you have this traffic related. So this fall into the category of actually what is called your network security. Network security threats. Okay, right, fine. So now we'll look into this web security approaches. Web security approaches. I think in the previous class, when I discussed for A section alone, I didn't have this diagram. So in fact, I went and drew this diagram in an Excel sheet. Those who had listened would have remembered. Okay, so now looking into the web traffic security approaches. Okay, actually there are a number of approaches for providing web security. Okay, so they're all similar in manner in the service, whatever they're providing. As far as the mechanism they use, they actually differ. The various approaches to web security differ as far as their scope of application, or their where the position, the relative position where they are being placed in the TCP/IP protocol stack. Okay, so the first approach is at the network layer. The first diagram out here, the network layer. You can see here the network layer. So this is one way to provide your web security. That is to use your IP security. You can see here IP, Internet Protocol, IPsec. That's what we learned in the second unit. Yes, IP security. Okay, so the main advantage of this is, this sort of a configuration is, it's basically transparent to the user. It provides general purpose solutions too. Okay, and it's, I mean, suitable for applications. I mean, transparent to the applications. Okay, so your IPsec basically has this filtering capability all. So only the selected traffic will be passing, and only they will be having the overhead of your, bearing the overhead of your IPsec processing and other things. So that's the main advantage at the network level by making use of your IPsec. Okay, so the second diagram tells at the transport level, another approach to providing IP security is your at the transport level. That is implementing security just above the TCP. You can see here, just above the TCP, you have what is called your SSL or TLS. Okay, so that's what we are going to discuss in the fourth unit. Okay, so this approach towards providing web security, this we already discussed in the second unit. This is what the coverage of your fourth unit is. Okay, implementing security just above the TCP. Okay, so there are two approaches here. Okay, the first example of this approach is your secure socket layer, SSL, and an extension for it, a protocol called TLS, transport layer security. Okay, so there are basically two implementation choice. Okay, when it comes to SSL. Okay, so this SSL could be provided as a part of your underlying protocol suite and be made transparent to the application. Okay, or SSL can also be embedded in specific packages. Actually, many of the web browsers like a Microsoft Explorer or Netscape, it was Netscape which made your SSL very popular, Netscape Navigator. Okay, so those browsers come equipped with an SSL, Secure Socket Layer Certificate. Okay, so SSL can also be embedded in specific packages. Okay, all these browsers come equipped with a SSL. Okay, so next is at the application level. At the application level, the third one, application level. Okay, so application specific security services. Okay, so they can be a part of a particular application. Okay, so services can be tailor made to the specific needs of the given application. Okay, so I mean, in the context of web security, so a good example for this is what is called your SET. You can see here, SET. This also we will be discussing as a part of your 4th unit. That is Secure Electronic Transaction, SET. Okay, Secure Electronic Transaction. So this is these are the various approaches to your web security. Okay. Approaches to your web security. So now we need to start with our SSL. SSL protocol. Okay, so I told you when you say web security, it's all about providing security to the data transmitted across the net. And you should be visualizing it as a client server application, your web browser and your web servers. Okay, so a client server. So as usual, the client will request the service and the server will be providing the service. Okay, so for this purpose, we will make use of one protocol called what is called your SSL protocol, Secure Socket Layer Protocol. Okay, so using this SSL, we can provide security to the data over the internet. Okay, so this is one of the most significant protocol which is being used in web security. Okay, so I just mentioned that this is regarding the history of your SSL. So I just told this SSL protocol, it's basically an internet protocol, IP protocol for exchange of information, not simply exchange, secure exchange of information between the web browser and a web server, which could be visualized as a client server application. Okay, so it provides basically two security services. One is called the authentication and the second one is what is called your confidentiality. Okay, so you can say I said it is for secure exchange of information between the web browser and the web server. So it will be acting as, you can say, some sort of pipe, a secure pipe between your web browser and web server. Okay, so this, I mean, I think I have not mentioned here. So this SSL was developed by your Netscape Corporation. Netscape Corporation. And there are different versions of SSL. Different versions of SSL. It's being version 1, version 2, and version 3. So we will be concentrating on version 3. Version 3. Okay. So there are 3 versions. Unreleased version, version 1, that was by the Netscape. Then it was version 2, flawed but useful, that was version 2. Then version 3, version 3.3, and then one more version was there, a version called 3.1. Okay, version 3.1. Okay, so these are the different versions of SSL. Okay, so next we need to look into the architecture or what constitutes an SSL. Okay, what constitutes an SSL? Okay, so I think in the beginning of the class, I said SSL is not a single protocol, but it's basically a two-layered protocol. Two-layered protocol. two-layered protocol which is being used for web security. Okay, so now we'll just look into the architecture of your SSL. Architecture of your SSL. So the A section students who has listened to the class previously, what was the first aspect we discussed about SSL? What was the first aspect we discussed about as SSL? We discussed about two important concepts, right? Nobody remembers, huh? Nobody remembers what we discussed. Just a second.
Connection and session.
Yes, connection and session. Very good, very good. Yes, the connection and session. Right. Wait, I will. So, yeah. Yeah, I just mentioned that when you say SSL, it's not just a single protocol. So when you say an SSL protocol stack, it has four things. One is what is called your SSL record protocol. Second one is what is called your handshaking protocol. The third one is what is called the change cipher specification protocol. And the fourth one is what is called your alert protocol. Okay, so we need to discuss about all these protocols in detail and especially about this handshaking part. Okay, so now before we start with this, we have two important concepts which forms a part of your SSL. One is what is called your connection, and the second one is what is called your session. Okay, so connection, as the name implies, to connect something, connection between a client and a server. Okay, or it can be between two clients also. Okay, what about a session? Session. So it's something like a security association. It can be considered as a temporary time period. Okay, so based on the session that is being initiated, a temporary communication link or a point which has been initiated, based on the session, the client and the server will be communicating. For example, when you're using your internet banking services, say you log on to your net banking and you keep your net banking site idle for 4 to 5 minutes. Okay, then automatically you will get a message. What message do you get? Your session has been expired. Okay, so then you will have to re-log in to make use of the service. Okay, so that's what session consists of, a number of connections. Okay, so these sessions are being created by what is called your handshaking protocols. Okay, so sessions are created by your handshaking protocol. Okay, so when you say the session, okay, so that session is being identified by some parameters, okay, which will be used by all the connections in that particular session. Okay, so now first let us see what are the session state parameters. Session state parameters. Okay, so first one is what is called your session identifier. These are the various session state parameters. You have an identifier, then you have a peer certificate, then you have a compression method, a cipher specification, a secret, and whether it can be resumable or not. Okay, so first one is what is called a session identifier. Okay, so something, some unique number, you can say, call it a sub byte sequence, which will help you to identify a particular session. Then we have what is called your certificate. So peer certificate. So out here, it is nothing but your X.509 certificate, which we have already learned. Okay, so when we say the certificate, it will have the public key of the client, then the security algorithm parameters. Okay, so the next will be what is called a compression method. Okay, so this particular attribute will tell you what compression algorithm is used before encryption. Actually, this is an optional parameter. Sometimes we go for encryption, compression before we apply some encryption or decryption encryption techniques. So what encryption technique is being used or what compression algorithm is being used before encryption. So that will be specified as a part of here. Then we have what is called the cipher specification. Okay, so this means here we have encryption algorithms and authentication algorithms. Okay, so so it can either be a MAC algorithm or a hash algorithm. Authentication means definitely it will be a hash based system. Okay, then the next is your master secret. Master secret is the secret key which is being shared between the client and the server. Okay, then we have what is called whether it is resumable or not. So this is basically a flag. Okay, so this is a flag. So whether the new connection can be established by a particular session or not. Okay, so these are the session state parameters. Okay, so next coming to the connection state parameters. We have what is called the connection state parameters. So after discussing these two, we need to move on to the architecture, architecture of the layered protocol called SSL. Okay, so here we have the first one is what is called a server and client random. Please make a note of all these things rather than simply listening or simply sitting and browsing something else. Please make a note of it. Server and client random. So the byte sequences associated with a particular connection. Then server write MAC secret. So the MAC which is generally generated for the data which is being sent by the server. That's why server write. Same way client write. Okay. So the data which is being sent by the client, the MAC, message authentication code, which is being generated by the client for the data which is being sent by the client. Then we have the server write key. Okay, so this is you can say the secret key which is being used for encryption by the server or which will be sent by the server. Then we have what is called the client write key. Client write key. So this is the key which is being shared between the client and the server. Okay, so this key will be generated by the client. Okay, then of course you have what is called an initialization vector. Okay, so so you can call it, you can imagine it as some sort of dummy bits which are being used for the data or for the key in the operation. Okay, especially you have different cipher modes of operation. So especially if you're using a block cipher mode and all, we need to have something called an initialization vector. Okay, so you can just imagine it as some dummy bits. Then we have what is called a sequence number. Okay, so sequence number means whenever a packet is being transmitted, so some sequence number will be generated and that will be appended to each and every packet during the transmission. Okay, so based on the bandwidth. Okay, so the entire data that will be fragmented and sequence numbers will be allotted to each fragment. Okay, so at the receiver's end, when they try to reassemble the packets, so they basically collaborate with all the packets according to the sequence numbers. Okay, so that's basically the significance of your sequence number. So that's regarding the connection parameters and session state parameters. Okay, so we just had a look into what is web security, what are the different threats to web security. Okay, then we started looking into one of the most important protocol which is being meant for web security, which is nothing but your secure socket layer protocol, which is not a single protocol, it's a multi-layered protocol which has what is called your record protocol. That's what we're going to learn next. What we're going to learn next is nothing but the SSL protocol stack. So you have what is called a record protocol, a handshaking protocol, a change cipher specification protocol, and an alert protocol, which forms what is called a protocol stack. Okay, so before venturing out to understanding this, we looked into what basically a connection and a session is. I gave you an example for session getting timed out. So then we looked into, when you say a session, what are the parameters associated with a session? Identifier, a certificate, I hope now when I say a certificate, all of you must be knowing what basically is a certificate. We had discussed in detail about a certificate, digital signatures, all those things was discussed. We looked into PGP certificate is there. Then we discussed about Extort 509 certificate revocation and other things. Then compression method, optional, cipher specification, master secret, and whether it is resumable or not. Then we also looked into the connection state parameters with all these aspects. Okay, so next we have to move on to the SSL protocol stack, the architecture of it. So before that, let me take the attendance. Are people listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Who was that? Santosh? Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you, Santosh. So once in a while you join the class and listen. I'm happy. Right, answer your attendance. Only 49 now. Shruti and Brian were there. What about Dipanshu Kumar, 26?
Ma'am.
Okay. Vishal, 27. Vishal is there. Vishal had given the attendance and after that left. No, Vishal is not there. It was Nitish who was there. Nitish is still there, right? Vishal is absent.
Oh,
Okay,
yes,
what
ma'am.
about, yeah. Shruti Kaushik,
Yes, ma'am.
Darshini, 103.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Fatima, 106. Is Fatima absent? Fatima, okay, present. Okay, noted, Fatima. And then Sai Satish,
Present, ma'am.
Santosh, yes. Jeevesh,
Present, ma'am.
Nityashri,
Present,
144. No response. Ayush, okay. Then Ayushi Sharma,
Present, ma'am.
Rison,
Present, ma'am.
Karthak,
Present, ma'am.
Pranay Matthew,
Present, ma'am.
Rishon,
Present, ma'am.
Anshuman,
Present, ma'am.
Rajanish Yadav,
Present, ma'am.
Vedika,
Present, ma'am.
45. Manthan Shah,
Present, ma'am.
Aman Vora,
Present, ma'am.
Shaktiya,
Present, ma'am.
Vaishakh Nair,
Present, ma'am.
Amrita,
Present, ma'am.
Malavika. Malavika is absent. 73. Okay. Megha Sinha,
Present, ma'am.
Nikita Das,
Present, ma'am.
Sai Gopal,
Present, ma'am.
Shreya,
Present, ma'am.
Gayatri. Okay, noted. Noted. Akash, 89. Akash. No response. Ila,
Present, ma'am.
101. Jitendra Saini,
Ma'am, left 90. Present, ma'am.
who just spoke to me? Yeah, who's this?
93, ma'am. Sarangaraja.
93. Okay, 93. Noted. Jitendra Saini.
Yes, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Okay. Rajagopalan,
Present, ma'am.
Binoy,
Present, ma'am.
Nimal.
Ma'am, Nimal present, ma'am.
Okay, Nimal. Karthikeyan B, 123 is absent. Ashwini.
Present, ma'am.
Ashwini is present. Then 142 Arjun,
Present, ma'am.
Akash Kumar Singh,
Present, ma'am.
Venkat, 167. Okay. Mitra Lakshmi,
Present, ma'am.
Aparna, 193. 193 not there. Akansha Singh,
Present, ma'am.
Mihika,
Present, ma'am.
Vignesh,
Present, ma'am.
Swastik Johari, 241. Absent. Jagadeep. Jagadeep is present. Okay, Jagadeep is noted. Jagadeep is mentioned. Karthikeyan, K. Karthikeyan was absent for cycle test also. First and second, both cycle test absent. 241 is present. Okay, noted. Then 263 is absent, right? 263 is absent. 267.
Present, ma'am.
Then 276. Jashwant. Okay. Who's this? 89. 89 is present. Okay, 89. Noted. Okay, we have another 5 more minutes. We'll just start looking into our architecture. SSL protocol suite architecture.
Ma'am, 241 present. I wrote in the chat.
241, na? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I need to. 241 is marked. Only 263 is absent there. 263 and 193. Noted these two.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Is it visible? Okay. So our SSL protocol stack. Please make a note of this protocol suite. Okay, you can make a note of what are the things that constitutes a SSL protocol stack. You have your handshake protocol, change cipher specification protocol, then alert protocol. Okay, make a note of this. So the first and the foremost protocol is what is called your SSL record protocol. So when does this SSL record protocol come into picture? Okay, so first when a communication has to be made between the client and the server, okay, so they have to initiate a communication, or they have to agree upon a communication. Okay, so just like when two people meet, you initiate a communication with a handshake. You shake your hands and initiate a communication. So same way, this SSL record protocol will come into picture after a successful handshake is completed between the client and the server. Okay, so many a times actually this client and the server will be optionally authenticating each other. Okay, so when they authenticate, they will actually agree upon what algorithm has to be used for secure exchange. Okay, so this SSL protocol, record protocol, it will provide two services. Your SSL record protocol. One is confidentiality, and another one is message integrity. Okay, so how it is doing all those things, that is we need to discuss about all these aspects. How a message, how it provides confidentiality or how it provides message integrity. Okay, I can see many people leaving right now. Okay, so you can just make a note of the diagrams. We can discuss about it in the next class. The first step is what is called fragmenting the data. Next is what is called compression, which is optional. Then, adding it along with padding it with what is called your MAC code. Then encrypting. Then Yeah, appending it with the SSL header. Okay, so this is basically the record format, SSL record format. When you say a record, how it looks like. Okay, so make a note of all these things. First, you make a note of this, the record protocol, SSL record protocol, how it looks like. First, the protocol stack. I hope all of you have made a note of this SSL protocol stack. We have to discuss about all these. So when we say record protocol, what happens to the application data? What happens to the application data? How it gets fragmented? Then compression, which is an optional. And make a note of this, the record format. We'll discuss about this in the next class. Okay, so can somebody just summarize what are the topics we discussed in today's class? Can somebody tell what are the topics we discussed in today's class? Voluntarily, just having a recap, trying to have a recap of what we discussed in today's class. Somebody who had noted down the headings alone can just read out the headings. Nobody has listened to anything. No one has listened today's class? Or nobody wants to respond? Everybody are feeling hungry. Megha Sinha?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you note down what are the topics we discussed in today's class?
Yes, ma'am. SSL history. Then we discussed about SSL protocol stack. There were 4 stack: SSL record, handshake protocol, chain, cipher, spec protocol, and alert protocol. And then connection state parameters.
Yeah. Along with that, the session state parameters was also discussed. Okay, so prior to starting with SSL, we also discussed about what is web security, what are the threats, and the different types of classification, the layers of security, and what we are going to learn in this particular unit. Okay, so that's what we have discussed. So with this, I'm stopping today's class. You can leave. Thank you.